This video is one that I absolutely love talking about. It's should you see a therapist or a counselor? I get asked this question a lot on social media because I talk about it a lot. My journey through counseling through these last 5 or 6 years. In this video, I want to help take the stigma away from taking care of our mental health. Here are just a few of the things I've suffered through in the last 2 decades, situations I have worked on in counseling. Parenting adopted kids from trauma, my sister dying of a massive heart event at age 53, walking my parents through their last days, including my mom dying outside the locked doors of her facility due to hypothermia, a diagnosis of HIV and AIDS, and a separation and divorce, living with a chronic illness, parenting adult children, financial struggles, stress from building a new business. So how do you know it's time to go? I had taken my adopted kids to counseling for years and years. This was the first time I sat in a counselor's office for me, and it was strangely humbling as well as empowering. At that time, my husband had told me he was done with me, and I knew it was time for outside help. Are you anxious, depressed, or overwhelmed? Are you finding it hard to function, get out of bed, sleeping too little, sleeping too much? Does everything just feel difficult? Then it might be time. Maybe you have trauma or dysfunction as part of your story. All of us do in some way or another. Most of us have suffered wounds from our childhood in ways that have affected our adult lives. And we risk continuing those same bad patterns often if we don't get help. In my journal during these first sessions I wrote, I feared letting all my pain spill out through unbridled emotions because I didn't know if once opened, those floodgates could ever be shut again. And I'm guessing that speaks to some of you today because you're afraid if you really start to dive into your story that you're never going to find your way back to normal again. And I'm here to tell you that normal can be so much sweeter. Do you fear death? Questions and searching for answers about death, especially if you've lost a loved one, are common. But are they consuming you? For me as a believer, I know death is not the end. And yet with my HIV diagnosis, the reality of death has led me to be more present in my own life and live out what I say about God. Do you have losses and need help with the grief? A friend of mine leads a grief recovery workshop, which I've gone through many times with her privately. She does group sessions. She also does them online, and I'll leave a link here if you want to contact her. But it really has helped process the losses that I've had one at a time and seeing their impact on my life and how to move past them. Are your friends and or family encouraging you to go see someone? Often it takes great courage for those around us to share honestly what they see happening in our lives. Do you just want to feel better and have hope? I continue on in therapy because I believe the healthiest people I know go to counseling. It's a gift that I give myself that allows a trusted expert to speak life into me on a regular basis. Do you want more out of your fill in the blank? Your marriage, your relationships, your life, your work. If your relationships need work and the other person won't address it, then find a way to get you help. You can't change another person, but you can surely address the situation in your own life and your own needs. So, how can counseling help you? A counselor is a safe person to talk to, non-judgmental and supportive. Look until you find the right one. A counselor gives you a different way of looking at your situation in your life. She can see what you can't and help you take off the blinders. There's a willingness to do hard work that is such a benefit to counseling, even though it may be incredibly painful. Been there. You may also be setting an example for future generations of family and friends. Be brave. Go first. Your counselor could be an accountability partner. You should have things to work on each week, whether it's tiny changes or huge decisions. Your counselor will help you with action steps and also to have a plan going forward. The things you practice should help you learn to apply them to situations in your life. And probably the most asked question on counseling is, how do you find a good therapist? When finding a counselor may come in a way you don't expect. I would pray about it. If you're a believer, then you might find the right one. Ask your friends put it out on Facebook. There ain't no shame in saying you need help. There just isn't. I wish we could get past this stigma of the perfection that Instagram and Facebook and all the pictures show. We all have our stuff. Mine may look different than yours, but we got stuff. And I would also say look online. In these days of Zoom meetings and doctor's appointments, this may be a good option for you if you can't find someone local to you. Your pastor may also be able to help, but I would prefer someone who is licensed, who has studied, and that is what they do for a living. Have I encouraged you to get a counseling or totally scared you away? I know that I am standing strong and stepping into the woman God created me to be because I went to counseling. I had the courage to go to counseling for me. It's a gift. As always, I'm sending hope and much love to each of you.